All right, guys, so we are recording. Let me quickly draw the diagram, right? So here I will open the Excelis EX draw, right? So shopping cart, correct? So for shopping cart, right? What we need? We need somewhere, from somewhere you're getting data, right? Just imagine the link from API or maybe local store data, okay? Something like that we have, right? So just imagine the link for data, right? Okay, API maybe. Fine, you have the data. Now, front end, in the front end, right? What we have done? We just display, okay? So we added the nav bar, right? We created, sorry, not that one. We added the navigation bar. It has few things there, like the home page, product list, all the products, and the shopping cart, correct? Shopping cart. So you're gonna create that page, right? You're gonna create like list, display all the list. So if our data is what? If this data is array of many object, correct? Many object inside, right? So you're gonna map through this and display your item here, correct? All the list, right? Now you have add button. When you click the add button, right, this item will go stored in somewhere called store. So we are using Recoil for our state management. So what we have done, right, somewhere in the project, okay, somewhere in the project we have Recoil, correct? And we call it atom, right? Atom. So atom is what? Atom is something for store management. So our store is a cart, right? The state of cart, okay? So we can call it state of cart, correct? CART, cart. Here, it's same thing. When you click on the add button, right, that product will go inside this cart. That's the first, let's call it one, product one. You add again, product two is added here, right? Product three. So object, we're just sending the whole object from this data, right? We are just pushing something in the atom. That is what is happened, right? Now, when you click on this cart box here, cart, that cart component, we know how to get data from this atom in the cart, and we render, right? Render through this array and display the whatever title, price, quantity, all that, right? And in that cart component we do all the work now. So sometimes you want to update quantity, you click the button plus, maybe plus and minus have added, right? Something like that. Maybe delete here, plus, minus, delete. Okay, so when you click this button plus, what we have now, you have attached the function, right? Like update something. Okay, this function will go get the cart, this array, loop through this, and you have index, because which item you click, right? Which item? So the index will check. If the index, we're gonna pass to that function. If that index is matching to one of the index here, then we're gonna update the quantity, right, in that. Okay, same thing for the delete or in decrease, and for the delete also. We use the index to update our atom, right? So, and then we also display the total, right? We have display the total here, whatever the balance, and everything is updating automatically, right? We have the function, lot of function inside this shopping cart component, and they will do the job when you click, right? So this is our central storage for our shopping cart. Now the point is, this product list, okay, product list displays first time, like you have the data. When you go to the product list, it will just render everything from here, display in the page, right? Done. When you add something, it will go to our state card, the atom, the data will be passed. This object will be passed to our state inside the array, and we just displaying that in our shopping cart, right? In our cart, okay? The list of item. Now you have total, you can have a button for increase, decrease. So we add a lot of function again in here to basically do that activities, right? So the next thing now, let's see, after that, what will be the next function? I mean, our cart is ready, right? So we have maybe one button here. Let's talk about the payment now. Button called payment, right? Payment with Stripe. So when you click this payment now, we have now the library, right, for the Stripe payment. Okay, so the first one is this npm install /stripes /stripe.js, right? So sorry, @stripe /stripe.js. This library will be used in the front end, and the yeah, so that is one. And the next one is Stripe, right? Npm install Stripe, which we're gonna use in the back end. Okay, so in the front end, you install that, you're gonna get this load Stripe function, right? And you just create this function Stripe by calling load Stripe. So this will be asynchronous await load Stripe, and you pass your public key here. So you can store in the .env file and call it the process.env your public key, or for now we just put it here, right? So now we have Stripe. Okay, and then next one will be just npm install Stripe, which we're gonna put in the back end, right? So what we do is, we're gonna use this function, right, to transfer our data card information to the Stripe server, okay, through our backend. So when you click this button, when you click the payment button, right, for example, here, when you click this payment button, it has a function attached. That function is connecting to our backend. So we have backend now, right? Let's say we have backend here. Okay, so I just added one file for backend, right? Backend here, I just added like server.js, and all the code is inside here, right? Like importing Express, all the middlewares, and then creating the server app.listen 3001, right? And then you have the route, so app.posting, right? Because we're gonna send some data, from here to our like backend, and that backend data will be processed and sent to the Stripe, right? Stripe server. Okay, so we have to make some like you have to register the Stripe, then you get the API key and the public key, right? That's how things work basically. Here you can see, so I would just added one payment and succeed, right? You can find something like this. So when you create account, in just register to API, like first time just have to sign up, right? You're gonna use email, password, and then this will be like a testing format for test mode, right? Correct. So like you can see transaction here, payments, something. I mean, I think yeah, you can just look at transaction, right? And for your API should be somewhere here. I mean, you can see the API here, right? This is a public key and secret key. Okay, you can click, you can see that, and copy, right, and use that. But when you register, you will find, right? So gross volume, how much. So this Stripe has complete basically the information, right? About your to handling your payment system. Okay, we just need is like a publish key and secret key and some functionality, like how you're going to send data from your front end to the back end and from back end to here, right? So that it will display during the payment. We will look at that, right? Let's continue. So you get the idea, right? So now we're going to go back and start looking our code. Okay, so that's the front end. So in yesterday, right, yesterday we left by just adding the creating the cart, right? When you add to the cart, item is added to the cart, and then when you refresh, it is gone, right? So persist means how the data can be held in your browser, right? How the data will stay there. So that's the point, right? So let's go back. Let's go back and check now. So here I have a two. What do you call that? The terminal running. One for the front end and other one for the back end, right? So what I did, I just changed. Okay, I changed the code, right? Basically, put in the two folder. Okay, so if you look at the folder structure here now, let me show you. In our front end, not there, right? What is that? Number 8. Yeah, e-commerce. Okay, so back end and a front end. Okay, so I just copy all the code in the front end, right, from yesterday, and also create a back end. Okay, so you have to initialize the back end and then add all the package and everything, right? So we will look at now in our GitHub, sorry, the Visual Studio. So let me increase the font size a little bit so you guys can see clearly. So localhost 517, right? 517. It's live already. If you go to the cart now, right? See, I have a data already in my cart. Okay, and you can see now I can increase the quantity, right? I can make 2. It's updating also the price. I can decrease. I can remove, right? And I can make a, here I have payment. So when I click the pay with Stripe, just click on here and it will open, right? The Stripe. Basically, it will just go to the checkout page of Stripe website, or Stripe backend, right? Basically, let's call it Stripe's checkout API, maybe another link here, right? So now you can put your address, whatever confirmation, 1212. I don't know what is that. 12121212. This is just testing, right? Your card number is invalid. So they have something like a okay, 1234 1234 1234 1234, right? So what is the they give something to enter, I forgot what was that earlier. 14, I don't know what was that, right? Stripe, I just use Stripe payment, right? Payment test card. 424242. Okay, this is the one. Okay, so you have to 42424242424242, right? And then you go here, just make it maybe 06 20 30. Your card expire, maybe 30, right? Something like that. 123 card holder full name, and make a payment, right? So you have this amount. Basically, you enter the card. This much is going to charge inside this tech card right now. Okay, make a payment. So I don't want to save, and it will process and success, and it just sent to the home right here. That's the route I have added. That's why I don't have this route yet. Maybe this will be success page, like, okay, success, payment is completed, thank you very much, something like that. Or if there is error, you want to transfer to the error, right? Now if you go back to the Stripe, you're gonna see something. So here, right, let's look at the transaction, and see, I just make a 154, right? This one payment right now. Oh no, that 219, I believe 219. Yeah, this one, right? 219. This was earlier. Okay, so you can see how things work. Let's look at the code. Go by one, go through the code now. So the from study, okay, what we're gonna do, what I said was the data, okay, in our let's 5173. See, one more thing, right? I have not added, like, once the payment is done, you can empty the cart, right? Means this basically delete, like delete the cart. So I have not added that code yet, okay? But it's okay. That is something we can do, right? That's not a problem. But the thing is, from product, right? If you go back to the product and you add something, let's say I add this 3 item, right? And I had one already there. Now I will go to the cart and see all these items are added now, right? I refresh, still not everything is there, no change, okay? Because these information are now saved in the local storage. So from yesterday, what I have added, decrease, increase, remove, right? These are the few things, buttons and their functions, right? And the local storage. So for local storage, it really, I tried my own way, right? Like what we did in the To-Do app, okay? But it did not work. So I finally, just studied through here, and local storage process, they give the function here. They're saying just use this function. Only thing we have to do is call this function, right, inside your atom here. So remember the use effect hooks, it works in similar way, right? When your atom value change, when there is effect in your atom, right, then the local storage activate, okay? It has the name, right, the key for your local storage. So you're just calling that function here, okay? And done, right? And the rest, everything, this function will take care. So it will get you the data from the local storage, and always keep our atom updated with our data now, right, will be coming from the local storage, okay? If there is no data, we will get empty array. If there is data, it will receive from the local storage. So this function we have to look at. If you look at, this is just the arrow function, right? This is the arrow function with the 2 parameter here, basically object destructor, right? This is what it will receive when you call that function. Let's say when you call this function, just pass the key, right? It's gonna receive something set self and unset, right? So inside this function, you have the saved value local storage, calling again our browser API local storage, get item and key, right? The key will be this name, okay? And then if there is no value, just if save value not equal to null, then set self. What it's gonna do is it will set the value from the local storage to our atom, okay? So it will parse and set it, right? Same thing, unset means basically again, something like, okay, you want to remove or something like that, right? You want to get rid of, then it has to remove from your local storage also, right? So local storage that remove item key, right? It just like if there is reset, something like that, true, then it will do this, or right, or it will local storage that set item again, it will remove it, right, and then set item again to key and convert the item into the whatever new value, right, will be converted to, you have to stringify, okay? You cannot just store directly in the local storage, right? So you have to json.stringify, make it, and then it will be set, right? So set item and get item is still the local storage functions, okay? So that's how it works, set and unset, right? Okay, so that's the function. The only thing is just call that function inside your atom, right? So let's look at my code now here, and then we're gonna, and I was trying to do by myself, but I just wasted a lot of time, right? It does not work. If you have a library, you have to do it in their way, right? maybe, I think it should work, but maybe I didn't know all, I don't know how to do all that. I have to maybe practice a lot. So let's look at here now. Front end, go back to the source folder in our page, in our cart now. Cart, right? Before we move to the cart, I want to show you the hooks. So where is the hooks? Store, right? Hooks, sorry, not hooks, but the atom, okay? So see, same function I copy, right? Exact same thing. And here, just put effects. You have to use effects. It is similar way, the way use effect in React hooks work, okay? Same way. Like something happens to this state, right? Something, if the data change, added or removed, something happens, this function will automatically trigger. So it will either adding something to the local storage and getting the new data, or same thing, removing something from the local storage and again updating the atom right here. This will be continuously updated by this function. So that's how the persisting of data work in local storage, right? So let's say now we don't have to worry about anything. This will be taken care. We know how to get the data from atom, right? We know that one. So let's go back to our cart and try to understand. So see, use recoil state because you want to set something. We know that set cart, and basically the cart, right? Whatever data in our cart is inside this variable cart. Okay, fine. So we will come back here, right, later when we talk about the API. For now, let's not worry. The thing is the button, okay, the update, increase, decrease, and delete, right? So there is a button at the end, right? So let's check now. So this div, look at this div, okay? You're displaying the list of item, right, from the cart. Because remember what I said, now you have this cart available, sorry. This cart, you have this cart available, right? You just loop through this and display everything. So that's what we are doing here, This is our HTML, if the cart length, if the cart array has something more than the, length is greater, right? If the cart length is greater, means you can see here, if they are equal to 0, then cart is empty. If the cart length is more than 0, then this HTML will display. Inside we have mapping now, cart.map item and index, right? So in the map, you have to pass another function inside and then put all your HTML, right? Which will render for each item. So each item gonna need what? You're gonna need like title, price, then quantity right here. Okay, so you can check the basically title, price, quantity. See, it's coming from each item, right? Because you have, let's say cart has 5 items, you map through that, each item will display this HTML. Then we are adding the button, right? Okay, for the increase, you have button. For the decrease here, okay, increase, decrease, increase, decrease, and then you have button for remove, right? Each button has unclick function, and you call the function decrease quantity, increase quantity, and remove item, right? These are the function, okay? And after that, we have this another, basically, see, all the item will be displayed right here inside this block. Now after that, we have the below the all the items, we have total price. So we have the function called calculate total also. So now just think like this. Maybe it looks crazy, right? But think like this. Okay, we have a cart object which has all the item inside. Whatever we do, right, we have to do with that cart, okay? You have to loop through that cart, find the right items, and increase the quantity or decrease the quantity inside that cart. We are doing everything in our atom itself. So let's look at one by one this function. First one is decrease quantity, right? So let's go back. It's just written here, So this is card, let's try catch. What is, I mean, of course, this the, okay, we can come back here later, right, for our payment. Okay, let's not do, think of that for now. Increase quantity, increase, right, and decrease. So see the, when you call this function, you click the plus button, this function will be called. You're gonna pass the index, right? Because remember, when you map the cart, you have index there already. Look at this index, and you passing that index. When you're calling that decrease function, you're passing that index. So this index is for each item, okay? Each item, whichever item you click, right, that index will be passed here to the function, okay? The same process for remove, increase, decrease, right? So let's look at one function. I think that should be good enough to understand. So increase function, you have index. What we do, I need to find the item which I'm going to increase the quantity, right? All my item is inside the cart. So I will say cart.map each item, and I will get index also. Because remember, in the map, you have, if the array, right, has a lot of item inside, and you map through the array, what's going to happen? You're going to get each item, and that item index also you are getting. So you can call it index or just I, that is fine. Because we have index here, just call it I now, right? So if that I, now this is a arrow function. So now we're going to check if that I is equal to this index. That means I found the items to increase the quantity, right? Increase here. So, but the problem, what the problem was, right? I tried to do it here in that object, because see, this item is an object. I tried to change and it did not work, okay? So I have to deep copy, means copy that item, right? So just put one simple function here, okay? Somewhere here, deep copy, right? So deep copy is just a function, you know, just wrote arrow function, right? And what I'm doing is, this function I'm going to pass whatever object I need to change, just pass that object, and then json.parse, and I will make it stringify to object, right? Okay, so that object is, new object is copied to this function. Basically this function will give me the new copy of the object. Why? Because see, you know, when you have object, right, coming from the local storage, I think you know, these things are I mean, you cannot just make it change directly, right? So I don't know the word what they call it. I think there is something like they are locked, some kind of locked, right? So you have to make it normal object, okay? Just stringify it, right? So that's why deep, this you can name it anything. Look at here, you know, we just passing now. See, I just call that function deep copy, and I pass the item, this item, because soon I find this true, right? This will run. This is the first part. If that is false, then item, it will just give me the item, correct? Ternary operator, true, then first one. So the first one, what we are doing, right? We just copy our object and stringify that and spread here. Look at this. This will return me the object like, you know, like my object, right? Remember, my object is something like this with ID maybe 1, you know, like there is a title, you know, all that, right? You can see the object because I copied now, right? I will tell you why I copied that object here. So, you know, let's say this is my one object, right? So you're gonna get this object, okay? Because from the, you know, from our database, right, there was no quantity, so I want to add this field, okay? So I just copy whole up, you know, like API, and just put it in the local storage, and that is what I'm using for now, right? But I will tell you that later. But I just added this one quantity in each, so I can play with this field, okay? So that object I get here, spread it. Now I'm gonna comma, right? So you have something like this. You have this title, you're gonna get quantity, right? 1. So you want to increase the quantity, right? You have this object, and then you just doing what? Object, comma, and you are changing the quantity. So quantity colon, right? So item, now item dot qty plus 1, okay, like that. So this item, right? dot qty. So that will give you 1, whatever is there already, and plus 1. So remember, this already have quantity. So in object, you can only have one name, right? So the later, whatever is coming later will replace the previous one. We know that one, okay? So now the quantity increase. So every time you hit the plus button, right? It will update the quantity in this way. So now you have new cart, okay? What map does, right? It will only make change to this part. If not, it will store the all items like in the normal way in this variable. Now set cart function, because now we have to update this in our shopping in our item, right? So again, we know the set cart. This will do that job easily. Set cart and then give the new cart. And because this new cart is already array with all our cart information, it will just automatically add, right? No need to worry about it. So our item will be updated. Once it update, we have already persistent for local storage, everything will be take place. And when we getting the new item, right? Like when you getting the new data, which is coming from the local storage only, okay? So that is increase. Same thing on the decrease also, right? Same thing here, only quantity -1, right? That is all, okay? And same thing for the delete. So in the delete, you can put an item here, but we're not using item, so you can leave it underscore blank, whatever, right? Like you can put it item, is still okay, does not matter, right? Index. Only thing is filter. In the delete, remember we use filter even in our to-do app. What filter does, when this is true, it will get rid of, right? So let's say when index not equal to index, okay? Sorry, all the true will be kept and all the false will be removed, right? So only time false will be in this condition when the index match. So let's say the index, how it works, right? Let's say index is 1. The one you are trying to delete has index 1, right? And you hit index 1 not equal to 1. So that is what? False, right? 1 is equal to 1. So that is false. So the false condition will be deleted. But the other index, for example, 2, 3, maybe 6, 1 is not equal to 6. Sorry, this number will be this side, I, right? Here in this case, because what we are changing is this I changing, right? So let's, for example, make it 5 equal to, same thing, but you get the idea, right? Every time, let's say, if they matches, then this is false. So whenever you get false, that will be automatically not added back to a new array, because this will return new array by removing the one item, right, whose ID matches, like who has the same. When the map ID and the index ID, when they is equal, then this condition will make false by just looking at this one, right? The false will be filtered out. But if like let's say still 1 index, but you get 5 here, right? 5 not equal to 1, true, that is true. So all the true will be added back to the new array, okay, new card, right? And we just store that new card back to our item. We know that how to set, right? And done. And again, the item will do the job by storing in the local storage, getting back the new items and updating our UI again, right? So when item updates, our UI will be automatically updates. Okay. Now the total calculation is same thing. You have the card, you use the reduce function. Remember the 3 higher order function: map, filter, and reduce. So reduce is accumulation, right? Here accumulation is 0 in the beginning, and then each item, right, price and its quantity added back to the accumulation. So it will map through, it will like, it's same like a for loop, right? So reduce is also for loop. So if you don't know reduce, map, and filter, make sure you do the Google search, try to understand that, okay? Or you want me to explain again, just tell me tomorrow, I will explain. But the thing is, this will be like initial value, which is 0. Now for each for loop, you're gonna get each item from your cart, each price, right? Item dot price multiply by item dot quantity. So let's say quantity is 3 and the unit price is 5. So 3 into 5 will be 15, right? That 15 will be added to the initial value accumulator, right? Okay. So, all the cart. So that is 15 for one item. Okay. Item will be keep changing. If there is 5 item, 5 times their total price will be added back to accumulator. And then we fix that value to the decimal point 2. And that is what we are returning. So when you call this function, you are getting total value price of the cart automatically, right? And that's what we have here. See, just simply calling that function. That function reads our item, our shopping cart item, go through each items, accumulate the value, and display here. Fine. And finally, we have on the bottom the like the button for the Stripe to run, right? Okay. So next step is Stripe. So here you see one function, make payment function, right? When you click the button, this function will run. What this function is doing, so this is the front end, right? So you have to install, remember I told you have to install, we have to install, you see. Yeah, so we have to install that, the at the rate slash Stripe slash this one, right? You have to install that. Okay, so I will just copy that and put it maybe somewhere where I can add. Let's go back here, right? So in the Stripe, I believe front end, that is front end, right? So in the back end, where is that? I put the back end somewhere. That's the cart, right? So that will be front end. Okay, here you have to install. Okay, so I'll just maybe make it here. Just install that in the front end. Once you install, right, then you can call this load Stripe function. Okay, so let's see how it works now, right? Let's go back and let's try to understand. So now, our shopping cart is ready. We have add, increase, decrease, remove items, all that, right? It's working perfectly. It's now time to make a payment. So let's do that. So the first function, when you click the add to payment, right? There is a function called, make payment, this function. Simple, button. So we also checking, right? If the cart dot length is 0, then you don't need to display the payment button. Okay. For example, I will show you now. We can check, So go back here and I will remove everything, right? I don't see anything here. Even we can hide all this, right? Based on condition. If the cart dot basically length is 0, then this part you can remove it, right? You can add condition, let's do that quickly here. So see, this is the one we displaying the total, or maybe this whole component, right? So you can just copy, remove from here. And how you add condition in your HTML? Curly bracket, and we can call it like cart dot length. Cart is an array, right? Length is less than 1. Okay. If that is true, right, then we just maybe add null, or let's do it opposite way, right? If the cart dot length is greater than 0, the same thing, then only you're gonna display this. Okay. Else, that is second part. Else, make it maybe null, right? Something like that. Okay. So now check. Your cart is empty, right? Okay, we're getting null. Maybe we can just make it. What we can add here, right? I think just put null here. That should work also. That is also type of data. Null is our type, right? That is that's fine. So see, now we don't see total, okay? But soon you add something in our cart, go to the product and add something, right? And then visit our cart, and you see you have the total price and you have the pay with Stripe button also appear. So based on the condition, you can display something, right? We know that already. So and you may be asking where is cart. Remember, we getting this cart from our use recoil state by passing that cart state, right? We know that. Okay, so here is cart and here is the things to update cart, right? Or we call it item. Okay, so continuously looking at the same function. So we understand now, right? When you click the pay to card, this function will run. This is asynchronous function because we're going to deal with our Stripe, basically Stripe, right? So what it is doing is first thing we have to import now, right? Load Stripe from @Stripe/Stripe.js. We have to import that. Make payment function is an arrow function with async. Inside you add await and call this load Stripe. It's same like calling await axios dot something, So load Stripe, and you have to pass the private key here. So either you can store in the env file. Let's say you want to host this, right? So you don't want to put your private key is okay, it does not matter, right? But the secret key in the server, in the backend, right here, must put in the env. Okay, don't put it outside, right? And then you can call it .env, but we'll talk about that. Let's finish this part. So you just have to add the private key here, private key, right? Now this object, now you just prepare, right? Prepare the body of the data, like let's say products cart, right? So the whatever in the cart, you just store it in the products here. So this is our body. This data we're going to send to our Stripe. Then in the try catch block, or just try right here. Yeah, we can add. I didn't add the catch. Okay, fine. So we can add a catch block. Where is that? Let's see. Yeah, here is a catch, right? Okay, I don't see. So in the try block, right? Try, you can await fetch. Now this is the browser API, because we're going to talk to our, now I want to send this data, to our backend, right? So local http localhost 3001, create checkout session, comma, right? And then in the bracket, you're gonna, the second parameter, okay, you're gonna say method is post. Even we can do like we can call axios.post directly and you can send it, right? That will also work, but I just use the fetch. And then the header, you have to tell it what type of content. So this is JSON, application JSON, and you pass the body of the data, this data, right? So you have to stringify it, JSON.stringify body, okay? So that's how you send the data, right, in the fetch. First, you have to call your API link, and that API link gonna accept the data, right, the body here. Fine. So this data is same our cart, it has maybe 3-4 items, whatever. So now, right, once you send the data, you're going to get back response, okay? So if response.okay is true, then it will be false, right? Not true will be false, then this will be nothing happened. But if there is a false, something goes wrong, right? Then this will be not false, will be true, and then you just send the response to the user, right? Error data, you can send it and display some error message, right? That is fine. This is just for error check. Now also we're going to have some session here. So response.json, await, you get some session. Then result await Stripe. That remember now, right? We send the data to the backend, okay? We send the data to the backend, and also we, when you click the button, what's gonna happen is we have to go to the Stripe page now, right? So we have the, remember when you send the data to the backend from our response, this response, remember the backend is going to give us some response, right? From there, we're going to grab the basically, like you're going to response.json, right? Whatever is the response, you just get that one and store in the variable, okay? In the JSON format, right? Now, stripe, the stripe what we have here, this stripe dot, there is a function inside now, right? Redirect to checkout page now of the stripe. So you make await, because after this only this step gonna happen, okay? So await stripe dot redirect checkout function, and inside you pass the session ID, which is equal to something from here down. So we know, right? The backend must know, backend has something, because this is what we get from the backend, okay? So we're gonna send some ID from the front end also to the backend, so it knows to process, right? Okay, fine. So now this result, when you redirect, you're gonna get back something stored in the result. If there is error, you're gonna console log error, whatever, right? Here again, if result.error, then console log this. If not, catch error, right? If there is error, then. So that is all in the front end part, right? So the thing is now, right? All our data is in the backend, which we send from here. We have sent the data in the backend. Let's create a backend for this now, right? This is the route, okay? This is the path. And our method is post. So let's quickly create that. So backend folder, npm install init-y, you can install this package.json. You add some libraries, right? Like cookies parser, course.env to process our env file, express, nodemon, and stripe. Npm install stripe, right? So you have seen all this before, how to install. Npm install stripe, okay? Once we have installed the stripe, then also in the development, npm run dev for nodemon server.js, right? I'm just gonna put in one file, okay, everything here, because it's just something post one route only, right? So express, import express.env, cookie parser, course, and stripe also, right? Import stripe and .env.config, so that you can process.env.stripe secret key you can get, right? So in the .env file, we have this secret key stored now, stripe underscore secret that key. You can name it anything, but this is what I put here, right? So that I can access in my server. I had some issue, right? So I just console log, okay? I was checking because it was not working for a long time, okay? But it worked. I don't know what mistake I did, but it worked finally. So we'll check. Let's say if that's why I added all this check, right? So if there is no secret key, then console log secret key is not a set environment variable, something exit, process.exit done, right? But let's say we have the secret key, then this is not gonna happen, right? We move to the next step here. So we import the stripe, remember that stripe here, and then pass the secret key to that stripe function. It will give you the object back, right? And app.express, we have to create app from our express. Just run all the middleware here, app.use, cookie parser, course, express JSON, and all that, it's done. So when you just leave it like this, right, it will work for almost like all the routes, okay? So it's like a universal acceptance, right? It will just work unless you want to put all that the content type and everything there, the link, from which link you want to access, you can add that also, right? From our the local storage routes, you can add, when you do the hosting, right, you can put it here, same like what we have done in the last project, okay? So app.use express.json, right? Just add it all there. See, simple route now, app.post, and this is the route, right? Localhost, http localhost :5173 Oh, sorry, not 5173. This is, what is that? What is the server I'm running on, right? 3001. Okay. The localhost 3001 slash this slash create checkout session, right? That will be my route. Okay. And then you have callback function here. So async request response, and then the function. So how are you going to get data from the body? Requested body. It will give you that products data, what you have sent here, right? See that object you send? This object has a property products. So we just destructure it here, products. Okay. Now we're going to process, right? So let's make it line items, or you can call it items, whatever, does not matter, right? Products.map, because remember, now we are displaying this data in our this data will be displayed, right? Where? In our Stripe page. Okay, I will show you again later, but just imagine we're just creating just this, basically adding all this information, right? What are the things we're gonna send to the Stripe page? Price of data, you can put it currency, whatever. Let's look at all this field now, right? So map, products.map, how many products we getting from our front end? Okay, from the cart, right? That map each product. So you have product data, price underscore data, right? That's first thing is price, price data, right? Then it's in the currency, basically currency USD, and product data here, okay. What mistake I'm doing, right? Fine. Okay, so let's call it, this is the first one, right? You have currency. Fine. Next, you're going to pass it, basically some information about your data, right? Like this. There you're going to get name of your items, like title, and then you can pass image if you want also, right? You can do that. And unit amount, can, in our product dot price, there is a price, right? Just multiply by 100, I think, to add the cent, right? Something like that. Okay, it suggested somewhere, so I just put it there. And then the quantity will be product.quantity, right? So you have quantity, you have a price, and then you have the, let's see. Yeah, I think that is all, right? You have items, title, and all that. Okay, so this is basically product. I mean, I don't know why I put price data, right? This will be like product data. Okay, product data, right? That is confusing. Okay, and then you have to call that when we use here, right? So let me see. So this object, now in the session, right? Checkout session, create checkout payment methods, type will be card, item lines, right? So this is the item lines. Fine. So we are sending these items right here, and the mode will be payment, and then success. Now, if the success, right, where you want to go? So I don't have a home route. Okay, so I'll just remove it to make it just for the, like, our root route, right? For now, you can add like a, if error, you can add it, something like a, if in the case of cancel, right, you can create a route in our front end and it will redirect to that route. Okay, cancel page or success page, something like that. So I'll just leave it for now empty, right? Okay, so let's product data, right? Fine. So I hope that should be fine. Okay, let's check now, right? The rest is, like from like session ID, right? You can send the response ID, okay, back to the user, right? You can send that. That is fine. If there is error, it will run the catch section and basically display all this error, right? And this is our final, like, app that listen to this port and console log, server is running, right? So That is the backend. So when you do npm run dev, the backend will run on this port. Okay, so let's check now if this work. Refresh, remove everything, right? Go to the product list. Let's add something from here. Add to cart, cart, right? And then now click on the, so just imagine our, the atom has some item now, right? When you go back there, you read all that item from the atoms, the list of item. You can increase the quantity, you can increase, even total is changing. Now make a payment, right? Make a payment. So something went wrong. I think, yeah. So that's the problem happened. I think the other thing I changed, that should be the same name, like what was the price something, right? Because it's I think we have to follow some pattern from the the Stripe, right? So let me change it back to price data, right? Okay, and remove that one here. Save. So need to do more study on this part, like what are the fields you can send that. But basically, if you look at here, we are sending that titles, image, the currency format, unit amount, right? All these things we are sent, quantity, things like that we are sending to the basically in our Stripe, right? So make a payment. I don't know what is the error. Okay, finally to work, right? You can see these things displayed in the Stripe page now, right? You can see here. Okay, and it gets the total also, right? It calculates automatically. We just send that information to the price, right? And it will do the job for us. So now only thing is just make a email, whatever was the 1414 something, 424242, right? 4242424242. This is the like testing card number, right? Given by the Stripe. Month maybe 06/20, maybe 30, right? Like that. 123. Card holder name, Nepal, and make a payment. So 133, right? That's the total amount. See if there is more. Okay, so you can see all that. Make a payment. No thanks. Processing. And once complete, it will send us to our home page, right? Success. And you see, we just send back to our home page. So when we, like we can delete this cart, right? When the process is success, same time you can call our, like remove everything from the shopping cart, right? We can do that. We just write one function and delete it, like somewhere here, and not here, right? Basically, let's say when we receive the success message, yeah, so let's see, we're getting try right here. So we're sending like items, payment method, and all that, right? Success rule. Yeah, so I think we have to look at something here to do here, like fill in the card, right? Something I have to write it here. Or maybe in the front end part also, right? When we're sending the data, try. Okay, so when we get response, so we send to the redirect page. That is good. And here error we can do here. If not, we can just fill in the card here, right? Because we have already sent the data to this redirect page, right? So that's, I have to test. Okay, I have not done, so let's leave it for now. We're gonna look at this again during our e-commerce, right? E-commerce site. So we get the idea. Okay, I mean we have a lot of idea now, right? We'll see. Okay guys, I will stop here.